Getting Trump. You might have seen the recent news that jury finds Trump liable for sexual abuse and defamation in the state of New York. A jury of 6 men and 3 women awarded the writer E. Jean Carroll $5 million in damages. What you won't be told by the national news media, who are going to hold this over Donald Trump's head for the rest of the 2024 campaign, is that the state of New York passed this law to go after one man and one man only, Donald Trump. This lady alleged that Trump assaulted her in 1995 or 1996. She's not sure. Governor Hochul signed the Adult Survivors Act into law. Here it is, the Daily Caller. E. Jean Carroll admits she helped New York Democrats change law so she could sue Trump. The legislation allowed a 1-year look-back window for survivors of sexual assault to sue their alleged abuser, regardless of when the abuse occurred. Trump was found liable for defamation and battery, but not rape, which doesn't make any sense. The New York jury awarded her $5 million in damages, which Trump promises to appeal. The fact that New York passed this law, the Adult Survivors Act, CNN's Poppy Harlow said, they passed it just a few years ago. Were it not for that law, you would never have been able to bring this case. This was signed into law May 24, 2022. Exactly, Carroll responded. I would never have this window this year of having the ability to bring a lawsuit for rape. E. Jean actually helped to get that law passed. Let's go to the local news site, Gotham Gazette for New York. What to know about the Adult Survivors Act. Now what's interesting is, if this is an act to protect women in general in the state of New York, why is there paragraph after paragraph referring to Donald Trump for an article explaining this law? But now the Adult Survivors Act has enabled Carroll to file a second lawsuit against Trump for battery at the time of the alleged assault and for recent alleged defamatory statements in October. The point is, the Democratic Party writes new laws to punish their political enemies. If you wonder about new allegations and new charges and new lawsuits against Donald Trump, President Trump has always insisted that it's all one witch hunt, it's all one case, it's all one movement. The Democratic Party can't debate their political enemies. They can't discuss policy ideas. They go after Donald Trump to destroy him personally, they go after his family, and they go after his businesses in New York. That's how the Democratic Party operates. And this was never more so clear than during the 2016 presidential campaign. This is from Discourse magazine. Did intelligence officials politicize Russiagate? A recent series of articles in the Columbia Journalism Review details a symbiotic relationship between the media and the intelligence community. The Russiagate story was the fateful decision by intelligence community leadership to give credence to the Steele dossier, opposition research commissioned by Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign aimed at disparaging her rival, Donald Trump. Jake Sullivan, who was Hillary Clinton's chief of staff at the time, was rewarded with a national security advisor position for President Biden. The fix was in, at all levels of the Democratic Party, to not only cripple Donald Trump's ability to govern, but to prevent him from winning re-election. Let's read on. The genesis of the Russiagate story is well known. The Clinton campaign began publicly accusing Donald Trump of having Russia ties in the summer of 2016. The reasons for this are very clear, because Donald Trump questioned Hillary Clinton's record as Secretary of State and her weak stance against Russia, particularly with regards to the Syrian civil war. The Clinton campaign, instead of responding to these accusations by candidate Trump, instead decided to say he was Putin's best friend, and every sympathetic reporter to Hillary Clinton in the 2016 campaign repeated this lie until the lie became the truth. Former acting CIA Director Michael Morrell, a Clinton ally, asserted that Putin had recruited Trump as an unwilling agent of the Russian Federation. FBI Director James Comey launched a counterintelligence investigation of the Trump campaign, including the wiretapping of Trump associates who worked at Trump Tower, known as Crossfire Hurricane. This was all sabotage ordered by our scandal-free president, President Obama, who ordered an assessment of Russian influence during the election campaign to be delivered shortly before President-elect Trump's inauguration. The CIA would lead the analysis with contributions from the FBI and NSA, and directed by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. A government official leaked to the Washington Post that this intelligence community assessment would state that Russia wanted Trump to win, which is ironic because it was Donald Trump who opposed Europe buying energy from Russia, certainly not the action of Russia's friend. On January 6, 2017, at Trump Tower in Manhattan, 3 intelligence chiefs and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper briefed President-elect Trump on Russia's attempt to disrupt the election for his benefit. Girth reported the FBI wanted the dossier's reporting included in the ICA, but the CIA had reservations. CIA Director John Brennan claimed it didn't inform the report's analytic judgments, although NSA Director Mike Rogers acknowledged the dossier was included in the intelligent products review. Now here's the key when Donald Trump knew he was being set up by the impartial public servants of the federal government who were employees of the Obama administration. In a follow-on private meeting with Trump, which was at Trump Tower, FBI Director Comey briefed the president-elect on the Steele dossier itself, which claimed, among other things, that Trump had worked closely with Moscow to discredit Clinton. Comey informed Trump that the dossier asserted Russian spies had the goods on Trump, possessing a tape of his sexual activities in a Moscow hotel. The moment Donald Trump was told this by the FBI director, he knew he was being set up. Donald Trump swore up and down that no such thing ever took place, he was never at any such hotel, and it was all 100% made up. The fact that the intelligence community believed this to be factual told Donald Trump that the federal government itself was his enemy. In the first year of Donald Trump's presidency, he learned the full extent of how the federal government was full of agents of the Democratic Party, leaking top-secret phone calls as complete transcripts between Donald Trump and heads of state. President Trump was incredulous. He said, "What kind of security do we have if the President of the United States cannot have a confidential phone call with the leader of other countries?" And this happened repeatedly. It was a message from the deep state to President Trump that he was not in charge of this government and he never would be. So when you see all the lawsuits, all the indictments, the FBI raid on Trump's home of Mar-a-Lago, the FBI pulling over Trump associates on the road, including a pillow manufacturer, and demanding to see their cell phone contents, understand that this is all one investigation. This is all one charge against President Trump. The charge is he did not win through the good graces of the Democratic Party. Therefore, he is a criminal. That's the attitude of the state of New York, that's the attitude of the federal government, and that's the attitude of everything in our country that is controlled by the Democratic Party. I would like to close with this. In the 2016 and 2020 presidential campaigns, the enemy of the Democratic Party was not Donald Trump. Rather, they viewed their enemy as those who voted for Donald Trump and would vote for him in future elections. It is you, the American people, who were targeted by the Democratic Party with every raid and every lawsuit and every indictment and every investigation and every charge against Donald Trump as president, candidate, and private citizen. The Democratic Party controls all news media. The Democratic Party controls all academia and the public school unions. The Democratic Party controls all of Hollywood and entertainment. The Democratic Party controls all aspects of the federal government and in many states at a state and local level. They are the power structure in this nation. And when you voted against the Democratic Party targeted you as their enemy. Voting for Donald Trump or any non-Democrat interrupted the gravy train, the flow of cash from taxpayers to Democrats and their friends. The only people making money in America in 2023 are those who administer the Biden administration's policies. There are dump trucks full of cash being driven to lobbyists, consultants, and Democrat front groups, money being appropriated right out of your pocket as American taxpayers and delivered to the friends of the Democratic Party. And as a bonus, they tell you if you don't like that, you're a racist and a bigot. The Democratic Party wants to control the message and control the elections, and that is the true insurrection against American democracy and our constitutional republic. Bear that in mind when you go to vote in the next election. Thank you.